welcome to Monday Musing. I think I might have to turn the light on because it's struggling to focus, isn't it? How is everyone tonight? Can you all hear me? Just somebody tell me I'm actually going out live to the world. Right, well, this is just me tonight. This is something I'd sort of promised the team that I'd try and get in place, really, was to help out with the live shows and to give us better coverage over the week. So here we are on Monday. Monday's actually one of the better days for me because my week gets more and more intense, if you like, as the days go on. So Monday's the most likely day that I don't have work to do out of hours. Although ironically, I've got to get ready for a pitch on Wednesday, so I am going to be a little bit busy tonight instead of sleeping. Oh, somebody says they can't see anything. Loud and clear, says somebody else. I don't know how that works out. Can we be both? Can we be both? I'm not sure. Okay, I'm going to hope that, seeing as though some people are saying... Right, I'm going to say hello to a few people. Hi, Karanis was here nice and early at 8:27, so thanks for joining me and again providing the invaluable service of letting me know that the chat feed is working. Steve, hey Steve, how you doing? Long time no see. Neil Malden, hi. I'm sorry about interrupting the Batrep. That was mean of me, I know. I was pretty excited, but it was 24 hours late, so I just had to put it up. I did think maybe I should put it up after the chat, but it's so late. I decided just to get it up and running. Sean, hey Sean Blake, and Emmett, hi Emmett. Get on with those platoon of chimeras. They're like a 10-minute job. Not really, but get on with it. Go on, you can do it. Surreal, hey Surreal, how you doing? Yes, I do keep hitting those buttons. Sean Jewett, it's good to see you. Rockape131, Stalker 40k, evening, and who have we got? Roa and Sean, Steve, Neddy knows. Hey Neddy. Right, and what else have we got going up? I think we're almost Rotting Flesh 7. Great name. A bit macabre, but still a great name. Dark Elf Dave, hey. All working on Dark Elder. I had to scrap the green screen because colourblind, lol. Green scheme, sorry, and struggled with the green hues really badly. Crikey, never mind. Go over to, I bet reds is probably not much better if you struggle with greens, but if not, deep blues. Elster Nation, hey Elster Nation, how you doing, man? Matthias the Faithful, could always be worse. Kazoo. Okay, I was banging on about putting banjo music on because I think we had a comment that the music was a bit moody. What else have we got? Tedious Payload says he can't see anything. I'm hoping you can see something by now. Rick Quidley, hi Rick, how you doing? Oh wow, lots of chat. John Booth, hey John, how you doing, man? It's been a while actually since you helped me put the wall up in the studio, so still very, very grateful for that weekend. You work like a trooper. And Luke Jones, hi Luke. Ralph Hummel, hello from France, bonjour or bonsoir, should I say? It's you're even further ahead over there, 1 hour at least. Well, an hour exactly. Emmett, right, at Wargamers Online, been off sick today, injured my ankle, so I have made 3 Lehman Russes and almost finished 4 Chimeras powering through. There's nothing like a sick day when you actually still feel well enough to do the hobby, so that's perfect. Good win there. Dark Elf Dave, gone with purple. You see, that would be my downfall. Purple is a beautiful colour, I assume, because I'm purple-blue colourblind. I really do like purples, though. This is the thing, but I just can't actually see them. Right. Okay, what have we got? Luke Jones, I am subscribing. Hey, Luke, thank you for subscribing, sir. Sickness is just Nurgle saying you need to do more hobby. It's a good point. It takes a week to do Death Marks. Oh dear, a week of Death Marks. They're a great model, though. I always think Necrons are like the unsung sort of great models of Games Workshop. They don't get a lot of love, and I think they deserve more, to be honest. My brother does Necrons, and I get to do kind of an airbrush scheme with him every now and then, and it's just amazing. Wagworn Phil, hello, sir. That's 676 Mitch. Colourblind painter, yes. It's only purple. It's purple blues. Oh, look at that. House to themselves, no distraction. Eat dinner yesterday, took 12 hours. Right. Luke Jones, do I think Age of Sigmar? Question mark, question mark, question mark. So maybe that's a question of what do I think of Age of Sigmar? I love Age of Sigmar. And it's almost hobby heartbreaking. There's so much going off in the hobby at the moment, isn't there? 40k coming out. We just put up the first battle report, which was Tyranids versus Eldar. Both my armies actually. Mike collects Eldar, but he doesn't have the range of models I have, so he decided for the sake of the Batrep he'd use my collection rather than his. So they were kind of a unified color scheme. But oh, what a game! What a game! We've played some test games, but this was the first full right. Let's stop talking about it and let's just play. And yeah, it was great fun. It was great fun. I won't, no spoilers though, but you do have to watch it to the end. Right, hello, Red Cuffs and Cat reporting in. Hey, Red Cuffs, I hope the cat's well as well. That's Surreal, our Wargamer Online, go live tonight till you get 4,000 subs. There's a fly, isn't there? I've just seen a fly. I've had a moment. Yeah, I don't know how many subs we're on. I think we're near 4,000, aren't we? I've stopped watching the numbers, and I'm not sure watching the numbers is super healthy for you in the long run, maybe. I think we just keep doing what we're doing and hopefully get a bigger and bigger audience, and people will come along and they'll like what we do. And if they really like what we'll do, they'll pop along to the website and become premium members and help us do even more. So yeah, that's what it's about. But I think we are pretty close to 4,000 subs. If I was to stay on live until then, I think I'd be here quite a while. I think subs go up and down. They get really busy periods and then they seem to calm down. So right, where are we at? Going to Warhammer World launch party on Saturday. Oh, launch party on Saturday. Oh, 676 Mitch. Oh, are there tickets still available, or is that an open event? We might have to do that. Anyone know when GW reorders normal arrive? Will they be shipped to your home? Can't wait to get my hands on the books and the starter set. GW orders are pretty weird sometimes, the home delivery ones anyway. Sometimes you'll get them 1, 2, 3 days ahead. Sometimes on really sensitive releases, they send them out to people after the stores have got them. Whether that's a strategy or whether that's just your location or whether they're ready or not, who knows. Certainly, I think there is a tactic in making sure the stores get them first, so people go down to have a look. Spent some 12 hours. Oh, so I spent 12 hours some days and still takes me a week. Surreal working on the death marks. Yeah. I think it's one of those things. Paint at the pace and at the level that makes you happy. So if it takes a week, it takes a week. But, that's 52 units a year. That's a lot. Right. Should be with you, I think, release date. Okay. What about? Hey, people. Right, that's me. I thought Sam was filming a battle report tonight. So could be Sam. Could be Rachel, although Rachel normally signs off at Rachel, so I can ban Ham and her. Courage and Honor Phil. Hi Mark J, how you doing? Sorry, I remember 2K green stuff. Yes, I put a straw hat on with 2000, and Sam genuinely thought that was a hat from the year 2000. It had blue tack letters on the front. Numbers, rather. I have a query. What's the longest you've spent painting one singular mini? Ooh, for me, that's a good question. It all depends on whether you mean whether it's complete or not. Right, let me think about this. Incomplete, the longest model I have been painting is the Wraith Lord. The Wraith Knight, Eldar Wraith Knight. I bought it the night it came out. Absolutely love the model. Started painting it, and it's been going since the release day. And I don't care to even think how long that's been going. So that's probably the longest I've had a model on the shelf and incomplete. The longest I've painted, I did a marine. Oh, what are they called? The guys with the grabby arms and stuff. The Tech Marine. I did a Tech Marine for a painting competition, and I think I spent about 5 nights on that, just one single model. which for me is a huge amount of time. But I won, so that was a winner. Got a certificate somewhere. Very right. It's so close to 4,000 subs. Yes, it is, Luke. Apparently, it is. Although I have to confess, I think you are better informed than I am. Open event, mate. Oh, where's that? Oh, it's an open event. Awesome. Look out for me. I am going to have a word with the powers that be and see if I can get there for that, because that sounds like a lot of fun. Right, will we be covering Knife Age at all? We've had that question a couple of times. Sam was the big fantasy player, and I only played fantasy up till 3rd edition, so I missed fantasy, and it was, strangely enough, Age of Sigmar. Well, let's talk through the history of hobbying. I was into, a game that none of you will remember called Tunnels and Trolls, which had sort of models you moved around in a D&D way. Then 1st edition Warhammer Fantasy came out, and I was huge into that. Made massive armies of lead that you could sink a battleship with, and then continued playing fantasy up until 3rd edition, I think. Yes, it was late 3rd edition, and then 40k Rogue Trader came out, and I played both Rogue Trader and fantasy for quite a while. And I think it was when the new versions came out, I was kind of heading off to university and stuff like that. So that was the last of it for me for some time. And it was the Hobbit game that got me back into it. I started painting a few Hobbit miniatures and stuff like that. And I was only doing it for the painting. I was just painting the Hobbit miniatures, doing a little collection. That got me kind of Games Workshop back on the radar. And then it was actually my son that dragged me into a Games Workshop to get into the 40k stuff. So no, that's a long answer to will I be covering Knife Age. I don't really understand. I didn't understand 8th edition. It had changed quite a lot from 3rd edition, and it was a bit mind-boggling for me. I have heard fantastic things about Knife Age, and it might be something if we can get at a later stage, because we're slowly building things up. I think if we can get to the stage where we've got 2 studios, we're going to cover a broader range of games, and if we could find some players out there that will play Knife Age for the channel, and are willing to do so, then that's something we'd be interested in. Emmett, I got invited to our local GW shop launch party, playing games, takeaway food, and then at midnight you can go home with your 8th edition. Awesome. It's great that some of the stores are doing that. I think that's fantastic. Whoa, the chat's zoomed on like crazy. I meant to be talking about a whole bunch of stuff, but I got in so much trouble for not keeping up with the chat last time. I talked too much. Right, okay. We're all done in 1:30. Oh, we were all done in 1 hour 30. Oh, hey Sam. Hours that is, just having a brew before taking Mike home. Oh, bless. Evening, Thordelim. How you doing? Yo, Steve, blah, blah, where we go? Age of Sigmar. I love Age of Sigmar. I really want to get my Aerodron Overlords done. And in fact, I'm under huge amounts of pressure to start the airbrush range as well. So I've had a bit of a juggle around in my home studio, and now I've got space because all the gaming board's gone, because that's gone down to the gaming studio now. I've had a bit of a jiggle around, and I'm in a much better place now to start shooting a few videos. And we've also got some sort of volunteer help as well to help with some of the video editing, so that's going to be great as well. Right, the Eldar trickery got to you, Phil. Can't wait to see Mike Skaven. Mike Skaven's is good. Right, here we go. Sam, can I ask you a quick tip? Painting Dark Eldar. That's probably something Sam's going to cover, but let's have a look. Painting Dark Eldar. What could you go for? The loincloth flayed skin. Purple scheme. You see, I'd go sort of an orangey yellow, but let's see what he says. Okay, sorry I had to go for a minute. Hey Luke, you're back. Surreal, 46 to 40k. I think we'll be here a while, but thank you for keep plugging away, Surreal. I like that. Howdy y'all, I miss anything? No, it's just me. It's Monday night musing. I'm just rambling on and having a chat. We're following a little bit of the chat, and then hopefully if I ever catch up with it, we'll kind of introduce some stuff. While I'm here, if anybody has any questions for me, kind of, then if you can tag it at Wargamer Online and just put a question in the chat. So anything, you know, either about the armies, the battle report we've just released, 8th edition, airbrushing, setting up your studio, anything, let me know. Right, where are we? Nearly missed this. Got to love those notifications. Yeah, we're going to see what we can do about the notifications. It seems a bit random and a bit ad hoc, and I don't know whether we can improve them. So I'm going to do some research and chat to some people at Google to sort this out. Hi Phil, do you hope we will see more loyalist Primarchs for 40k? Brophy, yes, I think we will. I think without a doubt. And I was just looking, actually slightly connected here at this week's White Dwarf. So let's just I'm just going to quickly pop along to my favourite piece of artwork in this week's White Dwarf, and it's kind of been over the internet, but I just want to show this. It's absolutely awesome. See if I can zoom that in. How's that? Now I know he's not loyalist, but you never know. He might change his mind. How incredible is that artwork? It's beautiful. I love it. So, will we see more? Yes, the cat is out the bag, as they would say. I wouldn't be surprised if over the course of the next 3, 4, 5 years, we'll probably see them all, or at least the ones that can still be alive / return from the dead / anything else that could possibly happen without giving too much of a spoiler away. I'm sure there will be plenty of volunteers at the Club for Vale Renegades to help out with content. Okay. Drop me a message on Facebook, but it is early days at the moment. We're not going to be we're not in place right now to be able to have loads of people kind of producing content, but it is part of what we're aiming for, is to bring people into the studio and film more. But you have to appreciate right now the only full-time person, Sam, and he's got a busy job. Oh my goodness me, some of us remember going to beaties to get D&D stuff. You just brought so much back to me, at least, anyway. I'm not sure it will be for everybody else on the chat. It's really annoying, my chat, by the way. I don't know. Oh, what happened there? Hello, sorry about that. I was clicking on the wrong window. I'm not even going to try that again. That properly broke everything. Okay, hit the bell icon. There's something definitely going off. Yeah, okay. My internet seems okay. Looking forward to the airbrush tutorials. Any ETA on when they will be up. I think realistically, you will start to see them coming through at the end of this month. I've got a pretty busy week this week. I am planning on shooting stuff this weekend. And as I get things set up better, I'm going to be filming more. I've even considered, because I've changed my studio around and I've moved the airbrush compressor about 8 meters away, possibly 10 meters away from where I'm spraying, which means realistically I could even do some sort of live airbrush painting and things like that, because you won't have the noise of the compressor so close. So been a lot of jiggling around with the compressor and putting multiple water traps in and pressure valves and all the rest. It's, you know, so it's going to be great, because all you're going to have is the noise of the air coming out the brush. I'm off anyway. This is Phil's evening. Have a great chat, everyone. Oh, bye, Sam. Bye, Sam. Oh, yes, he's got to take Mike home, hasn't he? Evening, guys and girls. Hey, Adrian, how you doing? Luke Jones, cool. I'm not quite sure what that was too. Maybe the airbrushing. Hope so. See you, Sam. Okay, Emmett at Wargammer Online. Get people to hit the little bell icon on the subscribe button. It means that people get notifications when a new video is going up. There you go. There's a little bell icon. You really, really need to hit that to see it in future. Oh, wait. I think the call might be about Mortarion. Who knows? Look at that. Amazing. Right. Okay. Or even Uncle Festering. Jack has to get Mortarion now. Absolutely, Jack has to get Mortarion. I think he's opted for, with Sam, 3 or 4 boxes of the Dark Imperium. Not all on order, but yeah, I think they might all be on order. I think at least 2 of them's probably in the second batch of orders because they were out of stock for a while, weren't they? Oh, Dawn is coming back, minus a spoiler. Warhammer at Wargammer Online, question to you guys. What is your mid to long term plans for the channel? Any niche content, or are you following the biggest channels such as Wargamer Online? Right, mid to long term plans, and are we following other channels? I've got a healthy attitude towards doing anything really in life, which is to not particularly follow anyone too close. I think if you start watching what everybody else is doing, then what tends to happen is you just end up following. So will we be following the biggest channels as much? I'm a massive fan of Mini Wargaming, by the way. I absolutely love their videos. I know they're not for everyone. I kind of, but they're huge, and I do love their videos, and I love their studios and all the rest. I think it's fantastic. But for us, we are... I think if there's a differentiator then in terms of are we doing any niche content, we're going to keep closer to the hobby than I think they are. They've become a very big business, and I think that means they have a huge audience, and that dictates how much churn they can do. I think though their success now is so great that hopefully you'll see them spending some time. But I think some of them are primarily gamers rather than painters and hobbyists. Whereas myself and Sam, I think, started off as primarily hobbyists that have got into the gaming. So, will we continue with niche content? Yes, we will continue with niche content. We have to balance it, of course, because if we flood the channel with niche content, it tends to slow things down in terms of the growth and in terms of subscriptions and in terms of views. Niche content's brilliant, but it's just for a niche audience. So we need to balance the kind of broad spectrum content, the Games Workshop content, against the niche stuff. But we have a little diagram, and it helps us keep a balance. And we make sure that we don't go too much into one thing or the other. For instance, and it's wrong to describe it as niche, but our audience was built up primarily on Age of Sigmar content and painting tutorials. So I think we owe it to the people who subscribe to the website as premium members to continue with content that essentially attracted them to sign up for. So we will try and maintain the balance. If you would like us to cover anything, or there's anything we've not covered yet, then feel free to give us a shout. We are trying to get there. There's a list of boxes and game systems that we're desperate to look at. But again, time. Which Primarch does everyone think is the most anticipated return? Like, who would rate as one of the fans want back the most? The Lion. Russ or Lion? Russ. I think you've probably got it covered there. Yeah, I think it's going to be Russ or the Lion, isn't it? They're the most popular, without a doubt. Surely. I can't think of anybody else, really, in terms of the most characterful Primarchs that are quite emotive, get people really into them. Ralph, okay, just subscribed as well after you mentioned airbrush tutorials there. Thank you, Ralph. That's decent of you. Thank you very much for the subscription. We're that little bit closer. Yes, I will be starting airbrush tutorials. We're going to start with a basic series, sort of going through cleaning brush setup and those kind of things, but also these Monday musings might be a little bit more. I think what we're trying to do with the live broadcast is, myself and Sam, you may have noticed this, we're not identical twins. So there's things that Sam's into that I'm not particularly into. There's things that I'm into that Sam's not into. So we figured if we could have these kind of little bits of live space, then it gives us a bit of room to do that. Now, I really, really like my airbrushing. So no doubt some of these sort of Monday's musings might just turn into somebody saying, next week, can you strip an airbrush down and clean it? And talk through all the issues that you could possibly encounter, in which case I'll do something like that on one of these shows. I'm pretty open on the format on this one, so if anyone does have any suggestions, it would really help me, rather than necessarily in the chat stream, to go along to the ask WGO or the suggestions box on Wargamer Online, which would really help, because it just helps us keep a track of the questions. They all get put into a nice neat calendar for us, which is a lot useful for me. So hold on a second, I'll see if I get the page up and bring that up later. Okay, is there anything you want to do to improve in the studio? Satisfied with it? No, we're far from satisfied with it. We're happy with it, but that's not the same as satisfied. There's definitely, in fact, you can see this on the battle report we've just released. We've vastly improved the dice cams. So they're a lot better, and we've made the shape of the dice cam match the shape of the gaming board, so it really fits nice and tidy on screen. So pop along and have a look at that. And that's been a big improvement. Lighting, I think we need a little bit more lighting. The main issue I think we've got, and we're doing well in terms of filters and stuff like that, is we just need to deaden the sound a bit. Some soft furnishings, some nice hanging rugs, maybe a moose head or something like that. Obviously, a fake moose head, but a moose head. Something to kind of absorb some of the sound bouncing around. And we've made some efforts, but I just think we need to do a bit more. And it's one of those things. I'm not sure you guys have noticed it or not when you're watching the battle reports, because we try and do as much to kind of filter that out. But there's still a bunch of work to be done. Right. I tell you what we'd need as well in terms of studio. 2 of them would be really, really useful. Right. Have you done that still to come late? Ball alert. Oh, have done that, still come late. Oh, sorry about that. Maybe one of the things we should do is on the community Facebook page is to give more of a warning, and also put a timetable up maybe, because we try and do these fairly regular. It's not that often it moves around. Monday, it's going to be Monday nights, Wednesday nights, and Friday nights. For now at least, anyway, for the foreseeable future. We may jiggle things around a bit. We're trying not to conflict with some of the other channels that we really like their content, so we try not to conflict with those channels, but also we have a life and time and all the rest, so we just try to put up stuff when we can. But we're fairly regular, so check us out most Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Monday and Friday will be 9 o'clock. And Wednesdays, I think, is 9 o'clock. I think we've moved to 9 o'clock for all the slots, so we didn't overlap the Chilling Wargamer guys, I think. Right. I very much agree. Lion Russ. Oh man, there's going to be so much chat that I've messed up on. Why not pull out your army and show us your paints and lists? Yeah, I could get a few models out. I really enjoyed the live shows. They're great to listen to. Brand is great. Love his tutorials. Agreed, they're amazing. Deerhead. John, don't go there. Oak skull, perfectly absorbent. Fish head. Oh no, dancing Elvis. I once had a dance. We had Elvis cardboard cutout. We used to call him Ask Elvis in the studio. So when any of the guys were working on large projects that was running into nights for 3 or 4 months running, Elvis provided just a nice calm influence on the studio, and people could talk to Elvis when they had a problem. It was really good. Right, singing Fishhead. Personally, I'm not with battle reports or Ursa 40k. They take too long. You're not in for the battle reports or 40k. So, Adrian, I'd like to know what you are actually interested in. Is that the chats? Oh, here we go. I prefer chats and interview shows. Well, we will keep a balance, and I think the reality is at least 50% of our content is probably going to be chats. More battle reports, please. Well, there you go. I've said at least 50% will be battle report chats rather. We need to grow battle reports. Agreed. We've made a decision on the quality of our battle reports and what we try to aim to do, and the multiple camera and all the rest that we think hopefully makes it more entertaining to watch. But that does have a consequence. They also take significantly more time to edit. So we are trying to grow. I'll get some armies out in a second, Luke. We are trying to grow the resource in terms of both filming battle reports, but this is the important crunch, the editing of the battle reports. But we're getting there. Is that the fish Sam kicked? Who knows? Maybe. I tell you what then, what time is it now? Let's have a look. We're at 9:30, so let me see if I can find some models to show you then. If that's, people are asking if they can see some armies, I think. Get out your army, please, please, please. Go on then, I'll be back in a second. I will leave you with, well, a picture of Mortarion to look at. Oh, crikey. Wow. Bright light. Turn the light on. Right, okay, let's see what we can do on here. I'm going to have to zoom out of this. Anybody want to have a look through the... Not done very well at sticking to my rundown, have I? I was going to have a flip through the White Dwarf, but I'll get a couple of... Hey Stephen, how you doing? You're a bit late. No, it's not too bad, is it? There's a whole bunch of fish talk taking place. Right, okay then, let's see what we've got here. Let's see if I can zoom in. So, right, there we go. Whoa, 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 look at the size of that. How are we doing? Let's do that, move that out of the way. So, okay, here we go, look, there you are. There's Dire Avenger, of which I've done a ridiculous amount of these. So these are the part finished Exarchs. I don't think they show too well on the camera, but you get an idea of those things. So that's a combination of both airbrush painting and sort of picking out detail and those kind of things. But I have to say they are only tabletop standard. So I don't, yeah, they've not gone too far with these. I have to try and get them done. This is the Wraith Lord. On the photos we actually pasted up the other day, caused some confusion because people were saying, if we can get that down a bit, let's turn that down. Does that show better? There you go, that's a bit better, isn't it? There you go. So people were saying, questioning the Wraith Lord, asking if it was a Wraith Seer, but it was actually a Dire Avenger Wraith Lord I'd converted. So this is my Wraith Seer, and it's not much of a conversion, to be honest. I tweaked around with it a little bit, put it on a Necron base, and I'd had it where it had hacked through with its power glaive, sort of hacking into these bits, carving straight through the Necron metal. And what I wanted to do was to replicate the cloak of the Farseer, without getting into actually producing a cloak. So if you look, it's made from the banners, but from the rear it kind of looks like, you know, there's a cloak hanging down. That was the idea. So that's my little Wraith Seer. What have we got? Filthy Xenos. I'm sorry, you did ask to see my armies. Yeah, I did. Yeah. Okay, so I did do some Marines some time ago now, but that's a long time ago. So this was something that was quite nice. I wanted to produce Wraith Blades that were a personal guard to the Wraith Seer. So how can let's just see if I can place those two side by side. So I think you can see what I was doing there. It's quite literal. I took the Wraith Guard. This was a little bit of one of the plastic weapons. This was done with green stuff rolled on top of a serrated tool. This is a blade from a Necron weapon, which was then, let's just see if we've got, see if I do that. Has that helped at all? That was a blade from a Necron weapon, which was carved to try and be a similar shape, if you like, to that one. So I produced a little 5-unit guard, and in the game they play as Wraith Blades with the Power Axe. So, right, what are we going now? A bit of bad bit of dice roll in there. Tabletop standard. Really stepping on a ghost house. Sorry, Cyril. I was just saying how nice the Necron models were, and then showed you a hacked up. That's because my brother's got a huge Necron army, and he's got loads of spares. So, and of course, Eldar are meant to be the you know, sworn enemies and such. This is not tabletop standard, mate. The camera must have been doing them some overdue credit. No, some too much credit. Undue credit, that was the word I was looking for. That they're a little bit coarser than they probably look. where can you get the tufts of grass? They're interesting. They were the Games Workshop tufts of grass. They sell them in the box. I picked up a couple of them, and I've had them years. You know, because if you use them sparingly, one or two on each base, they just go on and on. But there are quite a few other places that do it. I think Army Painter do a series of tufts of grass. Right. Okay then. The garden. Thank you, Sean. GW do indeed sell them. How much does it cost to get into airbrushing from Dark Elf Dave? Right, how much does it cost to get into airbrushing? Okay, right. I think the first thing you need to do is think about whether you're actually going to be interested in it, because I think if you jump in too shallow, for want of a better word, you kind of dismiss it and don't do it. So if you buy too cheaper gear or go for the canisters and stuff, you will pretty much universally have a bad experience in airbrushing, and then you won't want to take it up. So I do think you have to think about jumping into it. And the other point is, I suppose more importantly, is I think you need a compressor, and ideally a compressor with a tank. So this is my advice to anybody who says, can I get into airbrushing? First things first, look at Amazon and eBay's for the deals where you get both a compressor with a tank, sort of a 2-litre tank underneath, and a super cheap airbrush with it as well. And sometimes you get two, and they will retail around about the £55 to £65 mark, which actually nowadays isn't that expensive. It used to be a lot more for a compressor. That will give you a compressor, which is really, really important to have, because you can regulate the pressure, and when you can regulate pressure, you can airbrush properly. And it'll also give you a couple of cheap airbrushes, or one that you can just break, which usually that tends to what happen with your first airbrush. You'll leave painting it too long, you won't clean it properly, or you'll drop it on the floor and bend the needle, or something like that. If you avoid all of those things going terribly wrong, you've still got a cheap airbrush that is absolutely brilliant for base coating and doing, zenithal highlighting or OSL. I mean, object source lighting is one of the easiest techniques ever, and you don't need a really fine quality airbrush to do that. So a lot of people just opt for that, and that's great. And like I say, it's the cheapest entry into it. What I'd say is, if you really get into it and you're really enjoying it, then I would spend somewhere between another £50 to £100 on a decent airbrush. If you were going to ask me for recommendations, I really like Badger airbrushes, but I know that there's a whole bunch of people out there that hate them, and they like the H&S, and then there's a whole bunch of people that like something different. It's what you get used to. So, but for me, Badgers, because they just work, especially when accompanied with a Minotaur paint as well. Although, I have to confess, I've not done much work with Vallejo, and Vallejo have been absolute angels and sent me a whole bunch of airbrush paints to try out. So I am going to do the Karajon Overlords in the Vallejo paint, and that will be an airbrushing series. So, big question there. Right, hold on a second then. Sorry. Long questions. Maybe I should call this Long Answer Monday. Right. So will Eldar players to be able to cope if they turn out to not be the top dogs in 8? Well, I played against Eldar, and I think Eldar is as powerful as they've always been. What's interesting is just about every other army is as powerful as Eldar now. So you are removing units left, right, and centre. If their dark cousins hold the edge. Rumour is their dark cousins do indeed hold the edge, don't they? So we'll see. I don't mind. I will enjoy showing up to a game with my nice little Eldar models, which have spent way too long in their box, because people just used to pull terrible face at you if you showed up with Eldar. I'm quite happy if they've taken a bit of a knock, because it means I'm going to get more games with some of my favourite models. And I really like Howling Banshees, and I hardly ever use them because they just didn't have anything in the codex to deliver them. So no transports were assault, etc., etc. There was no open tops to use. I actually custom modified one for just friendly games, but yeah, if I can get some games in and not have people pull faces at me when I'm playing my Eldar, that will be great. I'm sure there will be a whole bunch of competitive people who won't be very happy. Having trouble making yellow crisp. Yellow crisp. Any tips? I'm confused. Yay, model train store are awesome for scenery basing stuff. Wow, says Mini Walmart. Nice. Then Bug Squishy. For great toughs, go to Escape Games. There you go. What paint should I use for Seraphim Army? With Sigmar, bright colours. I don't, like I say, and Sam will sort of say this as well. For certainly for army painting and for even high quality army painting, the Games Workshop range is brilliant. So the I can't remember the name of it. Skegadam green and the blue, is it Seraphim blue? I can't remember now, but there's some beautiful colours. Blues, greens, oranges. Google lizards as well, and just look at some of those schemes that come back. Because some of those paint schemes, some of the schemes that occur naturally, lizards is fantastic. And I think because the models are scaly and those kind of things, is you can hit them with base colours, so you can go with something like a green or a blue and those kind of things, and then you can do like a dark brown or red, stripes on the back and all the rest, and then just Agrax Earthshade over the whole lot, and sort of shade the thing in one go, and if you want a fast technique, then it'll look really effective. What paint should I use for Seraph? Oh no, I've covered that one, sorry. Oh dear, Eldar lost the one I saw them in. You're saying they're bringing the hurt, Steve. They're still powerful. They're still powerful, Eldar. I think it will take a while for Eldar players to adjust to playing them differently. Right, Surreal. Wargame Online. What is your favourite model you have ever seen? Doesn't even need to be gaming related. Crikey, favourite model I've ever seen. That's a huge challenge. Right, I'm gonna have to come back to that one. I'll have a think about it. Harder and Steinbeck myself. They're easier to get the parts for than Badger because you're in Belgium, right? Okay, then fair enough. Again, I think that's the thing. I'm kind of lucky. I've got Barwell Bodyworks, which is a car body shop originally, I think, hence the name Barwell Bodyworks. And he's based about a 25-minute drive from me, and he's the UK importer of Badger. So very, very handy chap to know. Steve, look him up. He was at Chilcon, and he's a lovely, lovely fellow. Rat. I'm sure there is Goblet in Space Hulk. Yes, there is. I'm not quite sure what the question is, Steve, but I'm sure you've got that covered. There is indeed. But apart from airbrush for base coats, I haven't gotten, so looking forward to the tutorials. Right. But apart from airbrush for base coats, I haven't gotten. Forward to tutorials. Right. Okay. Sorry, I understand that now. So doing the airbrush on the base. Giblams, hey, how you doing, sir? I'm sorry, I meant painting yellow crisp. I dropped a few words. Okay, right. Painting yellow. Yeah, I work with Sam on some of the base coats for the yellow on his Auroch Beastie, the Maw Crusher. If you want it really, really sharp, then without a doubt you are going to need a white undercoat. Or a base layer of white before you even start putting the yellow down, and then it is the classic, keep it thin, and keep it, many layers. Saying that, although this is an airbrush paint, it's can I get that on there? Yeah, there you go. That is one of the most incredible yellows I've ever encountered. And I do have quite a few paints in my range. I'm just looking. There's literally 6 or 7 rows of paints that are 6 or 7 foot long. So there's quite a few paints in there. But that yellow by Forge World, and although it's an airbrush paint, it's actually airbrush paint reed thin enough to paint directly onto your model. and it's just incredible. And look at how much that yellow punches out. It's just mental. So it really does well. I used it for sort of the final dusty highlight on the terrain I did, the Armageddon terrain. So you can see, and I mean, obviously I was holding back on that because I didn't want it super bright. Right, okay then. Howdy. Oh, hey Vaughn, how you doing? James Jones, Dimacrodon, Forge World. Oh yeah, you know what? That is a great model. And I've got one painted over there, but I can't get it out because it's trapped. I'm in the middle of rearranging everything, so it's trapped behind a whole bunch of stuff. But that is a great model, and I was fortunate enough to meet the designer at one of the Forge World Open days, and she was amazing and talented, and spent loads of time talking to my son about the design process. So chatting to Jack, she was absolutely brilliant. And I went and bought one of those just on the base of the fact that she was so generous with her time, and then no regrets whatsoever, because once I saw the model I was like, I love it. I do think Forge World absolutely messed up with the standard pose out of the box though, where they've got his arms doing like, I can't get on the camera, just doesn't make any sense. Just repose it and take some better photos of it. Frost and Fist, hey Frost, how you doing, sir? Thanks for joining us. I have to go, but when will this be done? You have to go. Right, when will I be done? About 15 minutes. I'm going to go up until 10 o'clock. Okay, Steve. Oh, I thought it was Magnus. You could stop talking about and waited 3 hours in bed. You know what? Actually, thank you for helping me out, Surreal. It is indeed Magnus. The model is incredible. I'm a little bit intimidated by it, I have to say. I've taken the model out a couple of times out the box, and it's just mental. Incredible detail. Fantastic model. All done with my fists. Okay. So Dale's saying, done all my fists with it. That is awesome. Yes, it is. What army do you use? I use all GW airbrush for the tins of propellant to base coat all my Imperial's fists. It still works. Yeah, you can. Yeah, exactly. For base coating, there's nothing wrong with propellant. I'm just saying if people want to get into airbrushing, you know, like, well, and let's see if this will show again. Just little tiny, can you see what's going off? I don't know whether you can see what's, let me see if I can angle that better. See that sort of subtle little bone shade on the inside of the knee there? That's terrible camera angle. Let me see if I can, oh, it's hard to work out which way it's going to go. You kind of see that little drift in there and those kind of things. If you want that level of control and that fineness of mist, you're probably not going to get that with a propellant can. Like a hand flamer, yes, the one that looked like a hand flamer was awesome. Airbrush compressor for £60 off eBay. Exactly, that's what I was talking about, Dale. That gets you up and running. I'm still running on a £60 airbrusher. Oh, Phil, you sound tired. I'm not tired. It's just like, this is Monday Musings. It's a more relaxed and calm chat. This is my standard tenor when I'm on my own, just thinking about hobby love. Fills up 5 cans of propellant. Somebody help with the propellant. Right, okay. I'll tell you what. Seeing as though I think I've hit the bottom of the chat and I don't think I've missed any questions. Shall we have... I'm surprised I got away with accidentally breaking the chat stream, by the way. I did get away with that. There we go. Kablams, my airbrush compressor was £40. I think I love it. Exactly. It's brilliant. I did do one change to my airbrush. Let's see if I've got a pencil. I must have a pencil somewhere. And let's see if this will work. Because it's easier to draw than it is to describe. Yes. Okay, so... right. Wider. Wider. Oh, whoa. Back. Okay, let's do that. Let's see if I can get that on there. So if you've got, I'm just going to center mine. You've got your airbrush with your canister. Let's try and do that. You get your airbrush with your canister, and it's sort of a little pump on top. And on the side of it, you have, on most cases, a little moisture trap and valve, which your hose pipe comes out of and runs off to your airbrush. and that has a little thing where you can let water out the bottom. You press the little nipple and it lets water out the bottom, and it has a dial on top for adjusting the pressure, and usually attached on the side of that as well is a pressure valve. What I've done with mine, and it made a massive difference in terms of the quality of the pump, is it's actually beneficial to have this hose as long as possible because it acts as a pressure stabilizer. This I set at 30 psi because I don't want it any more powerful than that. And then what you can actually do is this little unit here, this compressor valve, you can actually buy them separately. So what I did when I've got my desk, which I'm painting away, I have a little extra pressure valve, which this comes into like that with a water trap, and then I have a hose that comes out of that. My airbrush. Wonderful drawing, Phil. Oh, thank you very much. Let's put a paint cup in there just in case people don't know what you're talking about. So essentially I have two moisture traps and this long hose which helps stabilize the pressure. So on top of that as well, I've got a local pressure adjuster right on my desk, so I can alter the pressure, arm's reach while I'm painting. And that's enabled me to sight the compressor as well further away from my painting table. And as I'd mentioned to you earlier, it's about 8, 9, 10 meters away now. So that you can pick those up off eBay for just a few quid, and then all you need is the adapter there to put that hose into that hose, and it really does make a massive difference. Can you guess what it is yet? Maybe we should do a little, let's see if what does Phil want to do? Okay, there you go. Oh, I know what that is. That is, if we follow it down, the seahorse. And then we've got a foot coming in, big toenail, just goofing it. There you are, kicked a fish. Right. God, I'm talking nonsense now. Back to this. Here we go. Phil, do I have a favourite character in each race? If so, whom? Same question for chat in general. Dettel, says Steve. Solution and leave overnight. I'm assuming we were talking about stripping plastic. Yes, Dettel is my preferred. It can be a bit gooey though. Can you guess what it is, Let? Darthu, amazing model. Less compressor noise sounds like a great reason to put another pressure controller nearby. Absolutely, you can just tuck your compressor at the other side of the room. And like I say, what's nice about that is if you set the first pressure valve to 30 psi, it doesn't matter how high I take my other pressure valve, it's never going to get more than 30 psi, so I don't risk overloading the brush. Oh, good point to mention as well is the pressure valve, the pressure gauge on most cheap compressors from eBay and all the rest, they run between 0 and about 120. So I set that at 30, and then the second pressure valve, I changed the gauge to run between 0 and 30. So I've got much finer control. The gauge is you can kind of tweak it. Oh, right. I could never do something that dangerous to my models and sleep, sticking them in Dettel. Yeah, I know what you mean. Should I just put 2-3 bottles of water solution and leave it for a bit? I've got Warhammer airbrush and mini compressor, £37 from Marbash, and you get what you pay for. I think it's actually meant for nail art. I've found it great for base coating and appreciating it, absolutely. Don't know what the I think the compressor, I'm assuming at that price you might not have that little external tank, and that's the thing that gets rid of the pulsing or what the canisters suffer from, which is pressure drop. So obviously as you hold a spray can down for any prolonged period of time, it gets cold. As it gets cold, it loses pressure. I just need to strip it back to the spray level to stop it getting gunky. Will it affect green stuff as well? Detol usually not. No, not green stuff. More likely to soften it, really. Okay, well, we'll go with Steve's advice on that. Detol, like they said, if you have it in the USA, purple power, get it at Walmart Automotive. I would love getting into the airbrush, but I don't think I would. Keep it clean and neat. Well, that is going to be one of the first series for the chat. First series for the airbrush sessions is going to be how to look after your airbrush. I showed my rather sentimental airbrush, which I've had, for more years than most of you young sprightly people have been alive for, and it's just about as clean as the day I bought it. If you look after it and just keep it clean, that's the main thing. I always, when I'm planning airbrushing sessions, allow at least a third of the time for cleaning, which I know sounds crazy, but you know, if I'm going to sit down for an hour session, then I want 20 minutes to clean the brushes at the end. And if I've only got an hour, then I'm packing up after 40 minutes. I'm done. Now to paint. Roll on Wednesday night. Okay, Emmett, off you go, sir. I am not far off of done soon either as well. In Cincinnati, you get it at Jungle Gyms. Well, there you go, Surreal. I'm assuming you're talking about Purple Power, which I wish we could get that over here, because all of you US wonderful people talk about how fantastic that power spray is. So it would be nice to try it out, because Dettol can have a strange effect, not on the models, but on the paint. Well, okay, it can have a little bit on the models as well, but you just have to be careful. Dettol. Oh, you can get Dettol at Jungle Gyms. Okay, right. There you go. Give it a whiz. Right, okay then. Well, I had originally an hour ago a few things in my head, and maybe what I've learned from this is to not have anything in my head before entering a Monday night musing, and just see what people say in the chat. You know, I was going to look at well, obviously Q&A, and we've kind of just ended up doing the Q&A really, so I can at least tick that. White Dwarf, we're going to have a flip through the White Dwarf, but in the end I only showed the Mortarian illustration. Isopropanol works a treat. Ulster Nation, we'll come back to that. And I was going to have a look at the latest stuff on the community side. Again, we've not done anything. I'm going to do two things. I'm going to push on through. Right, stripping models. Isopropanol works a treat. Yes, it does. It does, doesn't it? What's it like on plastic, Elston? Can you tell me? Can it be left in? Because I've never tried it. I have to say, I've used isopropanol to clean off any Dettol residue afterwards. I mean, not straight away. You give it a wash with water, and then I've given it a scrub with isopropanol and a toothbrush, just to clear off the sort of any residue left. 40k Redux. When I did my graphic design national diploma, I've got a graphic design national diploma, so fellow national diploma. An airbrush was still on the student kit list. Absolutely correct. Strangely enough, I'm in Falmouth in the UK on Wednesday. I'm going down there for a client meeting. And the last time I was in Falmouth was when I was at the Falmouth College of Art, being interviewed for their airbrush course when I was a young man. After finishing my graphic design national diploma, I wanted to go on to do a degree, and they offered a course on technical airbrush illustration, or just airbrushed illustration, but I wanted to focus on technical illustration. And I passed, and I got accepted onto the course. And I returned back to my local town and the local college to find my lecturer messing around on one of the very early versions of Apple Mac. And I just looked at what was going off on the paint package, and although the quality was awful, I just thought, this thing's just going to overtake airbrushing. So I actually turned down the course and went back to study computing. Right, Emmett. At Wargamer Online, I have 6,000 points worth of Imperial Guard. Came up with a crazy strategy for 240 conscript units with commissars and priests, with tons of tanks and support for units behind them. That's just going to be mental. It's going to be amazingly mental, isn't it? You're going to be las gunning some of the heavy stuff off the table. That'd be fantastic. Of course, the tons of tanks and the support units behind will be absolutely brilliant as well. I think Guard, I want to see it. I want to see it. I want to see what happens with Guard in 8th edition. Jack's got a Guard army, although it's nowhere near the size of yours, Emmett. But it will be interesting to see how well they play. I'm pretty excited by it. IPA on plastic has no effect. I use it exclusively. Well, there you go. Isopropanol, best place to get that is online, I think. Used to be able to buy it from Boots and places, but really difficult now to get it. But I just ordered a 5 litre tub online, and I use it mainly to flush out airbrushes towards the end of the cleaning cycle. Yeah, it works on plastics fine. Hagerbams, Dettel turns Ficast back to goo, does it? Then you don't want to be doing that. Hello, IT man. It man or IT man? Holding objectives is now based on having more models beside the objective. Yes, it is. And that does make it useful. You do need to make sure they are going to survive morale phase. Because what we've seen so far with people fielding large units is, for all intents and purposes, you can inflict large amounts of damage on them as well. And if they're pushed into a morale roll and you've got a 40-man conscript unit and they've lost 20 men that turn, and you're rolling a d6 and adding 20 to it, minus the leadership, I think you know where that's going to go. So you do have to watch out for that morale phase with large units, because it is possible to remove these giant tanks off of objectives just by effectively working out the morale phase and working out either sniping off anything that's giving them a decent morale boost or immune to morale issues. But yes, it can get messy. I'm theming my Death Corps army after the Great War, so loads of infantry and artillery next to no vehicles. That will be very cool though. Death Corps is such a nice model range. Oh, says right, too many cases. Doodle-doo. Wargammer Commissar means max morale roll is 1 death. Yeah, just look after that Commissar then. Yeah, that's the thing, isn't it? There's lots of really, really cool boons across the armies. But in fact, actually, I've got the Imperial book to flip through tonight. There's a little bedtime reading, so I'll be a little bit more clued up on guard. But yeah, that's really nice. Just make sure somebody doesn't snipe them off. Really nice to be back into list building for 40k. Yes, exciting times, isn't it? Little shout to the chat. Hey, basic miniature painting, by the way. Are people, I'm assuming everybody's having a go at building the list. If they haven't got the books already, then they're already working on, based on the leaks maybe. Are people using PowerPoints, or are people using points? Or are you using both? Right. That's why tanks and support units will be targeting enemy snipers. Yes, well, exactly. +2 cover with camo. It's all just going to be evil. The thing is, I have to say, we found this on the battle report. I was like, yes, it's Tyranids, and off we go. And it's the new Tyranids. It's not yesterday's Tyranids. This is today's Tyranids. Tyranids with a brighter outlook on life, and stamped across the board and completely got my ass kicked at one point by Eldar. It's like, oh yeah, Eldar can really still shoot really well, and then you go, okay, but I'm not going to spoil any more. It got interesting. The battle swings about and it doesn't quite go the direction that any of us thought it was going to go. So yes, we'll see. There's a lot of evil plans and lots of enjoyable buffs that are taking place on paper at the moment. But as ever with these things, counters do exist in other people's armies. My group discussed this. Points to points. Points is the only way to go. PowerPoints is going to be open to abuse. Yeah, I can see that. I mean, the thing is, though, it's open to everybody to abuse to a degree. So I don't know whether it's self-balancing. It's the closest. We did 55 PowerPoints for the Tyranids, and I think the closest Mike could get was 47 or 48 PowerPoints. Hey, Simony. So we were close on PowerPoints, and I have to say it felt like an incredibly balanced game. Didn't feel it all the time, but it definitely turned out to be balanced. Okay, power doesn't count equipment. Yes, that's right. Power doesn't count equipment, but it also forces you to, pay a flat rate, and also for flat amount of models. In other words, you can't, if you've got 3 warriors in a Tyranid unit, and it's 5 power points, I think, for that. if you want to take any more warriors in that unit, you have to add another 3. So you have to go up to 6 and they become 10 power points. If you haven't got the models, you can pay the 10 power points, but just take the 4 models along. Only if you play with Gits. Well, any game is open to abuse, isn't it? That's the problem. But yes, well, we'll see. The good news is both versions are available for everybody, aren't they? One of the reasons we went for PowerPoints is it's quite a lot of list building when you're trying to get things up and running quickly, and we wanted to we wanted to try them out. That was the thing. We wanted to see how it would work, and I have to say, first impression is it seems quite balanced. We'll see. Okay, it's gone 10 o'clock. I said I'd do an hour. I hope you've found an hour of me rambling on entertaining at least, and you've enjoyed joining me. Sam will be along with the Wednesday show, which is the Hangouts. Are Hangouts? I think it is, isn't it? It's the Oh no, it's Friday's Hangouts. It's got so confusing. Sam will be along on Wednesday with his usual crowd. I will be away. I have to drive approximately 16 hours that day, so it's going to be a long day, but I should be back by midnight. So please enjoy Wednesday's show. Pop along, give me a like on the video and stuff like that, and things that I should remember. Say hi to everyone. Pop along to the website, check out some of the content on there. There's a new battle report up on the YouTube channel if you haven't seen it already, which was 8th edition Tyranid versus Eldar. And as soon as my internet connection is fast enough, I will be uploading the post-game chat to premium on the website as well. So thank you everybody for joining me tonight. That was much appreciated. If it's held out okay, then we will keep doing this. As I said, one last thing, if you do have any suggestions for what you want me to cover on a Monday Musing, please pop along to the website and just pop something in the suggestions box for me to see. Thank you very much. Have a good night all. Bye. Oh, I've got to remember where credits are. There they are.